Hello. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ari. I'm not going to do my whole intro right now because I still need to get my other live up, which I will do right now. I hope everyone's day is going smoothly. But now I can actually do my intro. My name is Ariana Gonzalez. I am an artist manager over in the Orlando, Florida area. I do a lot of different things, but this specifically is my podcast all about, the music industry news. Today we have a lot of different stories to get through, so I won't draw out my intro too much. I always have notes for me to go over, so if you see me looking down to the side, anything like that, I'm trying to make sure that I give you guys all the information that I wanted to. It's always a lot to get through, so I don't expect you guys to be here the whole time. I'm usually on for about an hour now that I'm doing it this way through like a live feature instead of pre-recording them and editing and stuff like that. But I started doing it this way because I feel like it shows more of my personality. It's more authentic. I sound like really sanitized when I pre-record them. I sound like a news reporter, and that's just not like who I can be that, but that's not who I am. And I'm trying to be a little bit more honest, more authentic. So yeah, I always start out this live or this podcast with new music. And I always preface it by saying, with Spotify specifically, there are about 60,000 songs that are uploaded every single day. So it's impossible for me to get through every single new release that happened this week. But I talk about the ones that have been heavily publicized or ones that I'm personally a little bit excited about. But with that being said, if you're an artist who is wanting some promotion and you want to have me shout out your new release on my podcast, don't hesitate to shoot me an email, shoot me a DM. I have all my contact information linked on my Instagram page. Let's just get right into it. We have Taisha with a song called One Night Ting, which is featuring Sweetie. We have Cruella with a song called I'm Just a Monster Underneath My Darling. Something to add, because when I've been doing it, like this live version, I add more like tidbits, more of my own like 2 cents and things like that. I'm wondering how you guys feel about like very long song titles. In my opinion, it's best to keep things kind of short and sweet, even 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, but I don't know how effective a sentence is for a song title. And I think that it also is definitely dependent on who watches you, like how fanatic your actual fan base is about you, to the point where it doesn't matter. But if you're like a new artist trying to get footing, I don't know how effective super long song titles are. I think I would personally stay away from that. Anyways, we have Benny with a song called Beach Boys. Surprisingly, the Red Hot Chili Peppers dropped a new song called Black Summer. We have Lady LaSure with Lickle Darling. Tay Money featuring Saucy Santana with a song called Hello. I've seen a lot of the like viral TikTok clips of it, especially of like the previews for the music video. I like it. I really like Saucy Santana in general. I don't have anything against Tay Money. But just because I've heard it, it's like it's good, but it's mid, in my opinion. Anyways, we have Hope Tala with Party Sickness, Hali Abadi with Flirt, Kyle Dion with Hazy featuring Takei Maidza, Lil Bean with Billie Jean. Billie Jean has a Lil Bean? I don't know. And then Smiling Liz with a song called Rituals. So that's all that we have for new music. As I said, if you're interested in having me shout out your new music, definitely just let me know. I'm always open to helping out with stuff like that. Next thing I'm going to move on to are like my likes, the things that I personally wanted to add in that don't necessarily have to do with all of the categories that I usually go over, which are like artist accomplishments, industry updates, legal news, all that kind of stuff. But these are the things that I personally just wanted to put in. So I'm also going to elaborate a lot more on these because they're things that I want to talk about. First, we have Mitski saying that having a heart and working in the music industry don't jive, but without a heart, I can't be an artist. And this was just like a really profound quote for me, just because I understand it in a huge way. And I feel like it's not just the music industry. Like, the music industry is extremely cutthroat. It's extremely grimy. It's extremely weird. But when anytime that money is involved, like, I feel like that's just how it is. And anytime that you have a passion and you're trying to make a living off of your passion, it can be really difficult to understand the balance in these things, right? Like, when do I turn off my big heart? When do I turn off my compassion in order to make sure that I'm straight, in order to make sure that I'm not dilly-dallying or getting fucked over, any of these things? So the balance is really important. But I loved hearing her say that. I think Mitski is a great artist, definitely a talented person, and she's real. That's the thing about Mitski. She's very real, very real. Like, if you've seen her perform on stage, she looks like a regular ass bitch, because she is a regular ass bitch. Like, no makeup, black t-shirt with some jeans, and that's her, and that's who she brings. Anyways, we have rapper Major Easy suggesting that his biggest accomplishment following his soccer occupation is owning 6 different organizations, and becoming 100% owner and operator of all of them. So, for some examples of the businesses that he has a record label, an apparel line. He has a water organization, a racing company, a barbershop, and a car cleaning business. And he does all this while simultaneously having his own career in the music industry. And the reason I wanted to put this in was mainly because a lot of what I do and a lot of the things that I do over at We the Future is trying to convert artists to business owners, and having them understand that as an artist, you are a business owner if you do it the right way. And properly incorporating yourself or properly establishing yourself as a business gives you the opportunity to do exactly what he's doing. I don't know exactly the full story with him, but in terms of what I'm talking about, it's all about your brand, first of all, right? Your brand, your leverage, how many eyes are on you, and then the capital that you're able to generate. So if you start out as an artist doing it the right way, properly marketing yourself, properly establishing yourself, and you actually build a buzz for yourself and your brand overall, and then on top of that, you're actually bringing in like adequate capital, not just to take care of yourself, but to invest in new things. It's great, because then you have the opportunity to just do that over and over and over again with new things that you're interested in. It doesn't have to be music, exactly like we're seeing Major do. He has a fucking water company, a barbershop, a car cleaning service. Like, these things that, from his perspective, he probably knows, like, these are things that people need, period. Not everyone who buys my stuff or who utilizes my services is even going to know that I am the person behind it, but they need it, and that's why he did it. And I think very smart, and is definitely a great example for any independent artist out there, essentially, of what is possible when you do things the right way. Next, we have Majesty claiming to bring conscious gospel rap to the BET Hip Hop Awards Cypher. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. And that's about all that I had to say about that. I just think it's going to be interesting, and I'm excited to watch it. We have song and album challenges, song contests, and a battle of the bands are great opportunities to get your music heard. And they also always often get press get press and media coverage. A great example of this is Yo Gotti's challenge that he's been doing recently. I wanted to put this in here just as it's like two different things. One thing is like nothing is too low for you as an artist. I know that there's a lot of sentiments, a lot of egos, a lot of I'm too good for this, a lot of I don't want to, a lot of la da 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 da. But anything that can help you market yourself, get more eyes on you, anything that can increase your talent, better yourself is never not good enough for you. It's never not big enough for you. And I love this example because it's so true. Like the artist challenges and battle of the bands and things like this, like just put yourself out there and do it. If you know that you have talent, if you know that you can rap, if you know that you can sing, hell, if you know that you can dance, at any of these things, and you see something that is trending on social media that you can actively be a part of, take the opportunity and do it. That's what I gotta say. Next up, we have Press on Vinyl, which is a new record pressing plant, has opened in Middlesbrough, which is the northeast of England, and they're wanting to address the issue of vinyl demand massively outstripping supply capacities. So essentially what this is talking about is that over the past 5 to 10 years, we've seen a gradual increase in the sale of vinyls, but the industry kind of like stopped giving a shit about vinyl because of the age of digitization and streaming and audio files and things like this. We kind of thought that like CDs and vinyl specifically were going to be obsolete. But we know now that there are plenty of people who just love vinyl, whether they listen to it or not, because there's plenty of motherfuckers who have a catalog of vinyl CDs, don't have a record player, or have a record player and don't use it. But we know that there's plenty of people who are interested in vinyl, who want vinyl, who collect vinyl, who have a thing for it. And because of the fact that 5-10 years ago we kind of like said fuck vinyl and let's not worry about it, the demand and supply is iffy. And it's great that this company is kind of addressing that, and it's on the business side of things, looking at their perspective, they're doing a great job of filling a need. And that's a huge part of business in general, is making sure that you're actually filling a need, whether that be a need, not a desire, not something that people just want, but something that is needed across either a market or a group of people or any of these things. So I think that this is super smart, and I'm excited to see where it takes the company in general. So next up, we have Midas spending the past 12 months speaking to artists, songwriters, producers, different managers, things like that, all about their priorities and concerns, and also challenges and hopes for the future as they're continuing to make and release music. One of the things that was learned within these conversations with all of these different artists is that the most successful ones that they talked to handled their career as a business. Like, yes, they were artists. Yes, they have fun and they were creative, but they looked as their brand and their artistry as what it is, which is their company and their job. And they had that oriented state of mind. I wanted to put this in there similarly to what I was talking about before, of like, this is what I keep trying to tell people. Yes, this is fun. Yes, this is your passion and your love, but this is also how you're trying to pay your bills. So you have to look at it in a very specific way, and you have to operate as a company. Like, your company is you, so there's some gray area there, but you have to have a very, very business-oriented state of mind. And if you don't have that capacity, like you're just not one of those people, get people on your team. Start working with people who do have that capacity, that kind of state of mind, and pay them if you can. being a manager and things like that, the waters are muddy because I technically make money based off of commission. But if you are, hiring somebody for consultations, or even if you have a manager, because some managers do get paid hourly or are put on retainers, it's something to think about as well. And we can have a whole conversation about when to get a manager, when it's right, when to do all of that. But basically what I'm saying is keep the realization in your head that you are not just an artist, you are not just a creative, but you are a company, you are a business, and you have to operate as such. Moving on. The wrong mixed version of Bussin', the newest release from Nicki Minaj and Lil Baby, as I was saying, the incorrect master was uploaded to DSPs. And I'm looking like crazy at this because in truth, this is an elementary mistake. Like, I could understand why it could be easy to do if the files are next to each other and blah, 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 but like, this is something that should have absolutely never happened. That we're talking about Nicki Minaj right now, and you're telling me that somebody on her team put out the incorrect mixed version of a song that it's Nicki, so it's gonna have hype, but of a series of collaborations that has so much money behind it in terms of marketing. And you're telling me that someone on the team put out the incorrect master? Like I said, it's just so elementary to me. It doesn't make sense that happened. I want to know who's fucking responsible because, like, I'm just a little dumbfounded. Like, truly. Because I could understand if that happened to some people that I know personally, like in the little local circles that I run. But like I said, we're talking about Nicki Minaj right now. That shit, it should have never. I don't even know. Moving on, we're gonna talk about some artist accomplishments. I love this part. We have Nasty C and his second studio album, Strings and Bling, making history as the first South African hip-hop album to hit 20 million plays on Spotify. Great. Fortet has signed a publishing deal with Universal Music. Somebody named Lauren Spencer Smith had a huge TikTok hit named Fingers Crossed, and she is now actually partnering with UMG and their Island Records and Republic Records to Lord have mercy, essentially to keep her independence. So she's going to be keeping all her masters. Basically, the best way to put this is she's entering into a distribution deal with UMG, and it's great because it's literally because of TikTok. She probably didn't have to put any money into making this happen. And just shows you over and over again how I say this all the time, like social media and especially TikTok, like the rise of it and the vehicle that it can be is more than additive. Like it can actually be life-changing. And sometimes people get a little too like, oh, but that's them, that's not me, that can't happen. You don't know. You have no fucking clue. And also the people like this chick, Lauren Spencer Smith, if I went onto her TikTok right now, I could probably see that she was uploading at least one time a day, repurposing her content, staying consistent with everything. And that is, it doesn't, a lot, here's the way I can put this. There are some people who gain success because of one viral video. It happens. But the people who do it the right way with consistency, they get it builds up to virality. Do I think that TikTok is getting oversaturated? That's a good question. I think I would say no on a broad scale, because you have to think about, first of all, you have to think about the amount of users that they have. If I'm correct, they have 2 billion users on the app. And just like any other social media platform, there's a lot of different niches in there. So not every user is on independent underground music TikTok, producer TikTok, film TikTok, any of these things. because of the algorithm, everything is catered specifically towards people. I think music, here's the best way to put it. The music industry is oversaturated. So we can't expect for anything that is in relation to it to not be. Everyone wants to be a rapper. Everyone wants to be a singer. Everyone wants to be a superstar, an artist. All of these different things. And to me, that is what's oversaturated. I feel like the live is fucking up right now. Heavy. Let me know in the comments because okay. But yeah, so I don't necessarily think that TikTok is oversaturated. I just think it's a matter of the industry being oversaturated. Moving on. We have Invasion of Privacy, the album by Cardi B, becoming the first female rap album to spend 200 weeks on the Billboard Top 200. That's a great accomplishment. She's been, for a while, Cardi has definitely been a staple in the industry, knocking down doors, knocking down walls. I love to see it. I think she's a dope person. Obviously, I don't know her, but from what I can see from her brand, and this is just an example of someone who has transcended that line of like you feel like you know her even though you don't, because of how open and honest she is, even with not telling us everything. So that's just an example of something really great in terms of branding. But yeah, clap it up for her. Great stuff. We have Little Sims winning the Best New Artist at the Brit Awards for 2022. I love to see that. I love Lil Sims. Four-time Grammy winner Karen Clark Sheard was recently signed to Motown Gospel, and that deal is actually going to be a partnership with her own label called Carew Records. So very cool. I'm loving seeing the partnership-oriented deals, not ownership-oriented deals. Next up, we have the U.S. Copyright Royalty Board currently conducting proceedings to determine the mechanical royalty rate that music streaming services have to pay within the next 5 years, so between 2023 and 2027. Quick plug for myself, I'm going to be doing a workshop all about royalties. We're going to be talking about the Mechanical Licensing Collective and all of that kind of stuff. That will be taking place next Friday. But this is great to hear. This is great to hear, especially from my perspective, because I hate Spotify. I use it, but I hate Spotify. I hate Apple Music. I hate streaming, truly. It saved the music industry, but it is absolutely it shifted things in such a way. I mean, take it back 10 years. I mean, you could live off of selling your physical music. You can't live off of selling your music anymore. Depending on your fan base, especially, and we're also talking about the difference between physical and digital distribution. Physical distribution is always going to be more lucrative. There's more cost involved, but the profit margins are, I mean, you're talking, you can have 10 to 12 profit margin compared to you're making 0.00000000003 per stream per 30 seconds. To me, I could talk about this all day about how much I hate streaming and how much anger that I have for the music industry for literally passing off everything to these companies that don't give a shit about music. I'm ranting at this point. But I'm very excited that there are going to be legal proceedings on how things are going to be moving in the future, because I'm not the only one, obviously, who has these sentiments. A lot of people have been talking about their anger regarding this stuff. So I'm glad that hopefully some things will be getting cleared up. Hopefully the mechanical royalties are increased, and we're able to see artists actually have even 10,000 monthly listeners and not be able to sustain yourself on that. That's my belief. Anyways, we have another win from the Brit Awards this year. Dua Lipa won the prize for Best Pop and R&B Act. I'm not a super big Dua Lipa fan. I don't like pop music. But good for her. She's definitely been killing it these past couple years. Definitely a pop, like one of the pop girlies. And like I said, good for her. And then we have Soulja Boy, one of my many loves, taking to Instagram to announce that he's launching a sneaker brand called Soulja Stars. So if you are interested in that, go check it out. Usually this list is a little bit longer. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some drama and controversy that has happened over this past week. So we have Roddy Ricch deactivating both his Twitter and Instagram. After he released a snippet on Twitter, and I guess I didn't see this happen in real time, but I guess everyone was just like, he didn't feel no love. Like, it was all hate. It was all, and it got to him, and he's deactivated his shit, which is like kind of sad because you can tell okay, that this situation genuinely hurt him, but it's also, I think it's a learning experience as well, not only of course for Roddy Ricch, but just artists in general. That it's gonna happen sometimes. It's good. It could be a great song, it could be a great record, it could be a great album, but there are gonna be people who don't fucking like it and who are gonna tell you that they don't fucking like it, and you have to be comfortable with that. You have to at least like it enough yourself, first of all, that you shouldn't put shit out that you don't, either that doesn't have a clear purpose or that you're not 100% confident in. But if you do that and you get backlash on it, you just have to eat it. There's nothing that, I'm not okay, with this specific thing, regardless of what happened, especially with him deactivating his shit, that made headlines. So he's still remaining relevant, but it's also kind of he definitely looks like a bitch right now. But no hate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just dissecting the situation. All in all, the message that I want to give to that is that people are going to hate. People are going to hate on you. They're not going to like everything that you put out, and you have to be okay with it. You have to keep it pushing. I do not recommend deactivating your shit because you get in this situation, it's hundreds of thousands of bad responses, but it's okay. Haters are here's another thing for me to say. Haters drive engagement, bro. There's nothing more that will drive one of your posts, one of your shits, than somebody hating you so much that they can't help but just write and answer back to people who like you and get in arguments in your comments and blah, blah, blah. That is engagement, bro. Haters are your motivators. They're your best fans. They're the ones who will help you grow. I'm telling you, people can fuck with you and will love you, but not everyone. It goes back to this concept of that fans, the word that fan derives from is fanatic. So you have to think the best example, especially right now, are Barbs. These bitches will do anything for Nicki Minaj. They will stream her music overnight while they're sleeping in bed, just over and over and over again, in order to help her. That's what a fanatic is, what a fan is. Someone who is going to buy everything you want, who is a part of your $50 a month fan club, who shows up to every show that they can, who is essentially your roadie type thing. Not everyone who likes you is that. But the people who don't fuck with you, most people who have some shit to get off of their chest, who, Twitter fingers, they're going to say whatever the fuck they want. What I'm saying is essentially that, as I said before, haters drive engagement. People who don't fuck with you will drive your engagement because they don't give a fuck about saying whatever. They're going to say whatever they want to say. Not everyone who likes you, not even your friends, not even your family, not even the people who you interact with every day are going to engage with your shit. But the haters will. So just don't get discouraged by it. Honestly, I welcome it. Welcome it, please. I want to get back to what you said, Dan. I've only put out throwaway records I didn't personally like, but have blown up. You just never know. Absolutely. And that's the thing, is kind of what I was saying. They all have a purpose, right? It has a purpose. If the purpose is to stay consistent, it serves its purpose. If the purpose is to get more eyes on you, to market yourself in general, it served its purpose. And throwaways it's good to have throwaways. It's good to have shit in the vault. And it's good. It helps to show your progression as well, your versatility. And yeah, I'm gonna move on from that. Kim and Kanye been in the news all fucking week, bro. What do I say? Because I don't like Kim. I love Kanye. But he's making it really hard right now. I'm looking at you guys with pure pain in my heart. Because I just think he should be quiet. I think, but it's like, it's hard. It's just the personal shit, the divorce, the kids, all this, like, handle it with a lawyer behind closed doors, because I want to hear about Kanye because of the good that he's doing and the genius that he is. I want to hear about genius. I want to hear about the new documentary. I want to hear about Sunday services. I don't want to hear about you being mad at your ex-wife. Like, I'm sorry, and I feel for you, and it is what it is, but like, this is the shit that keeps putting the bad narrative onto Kanye. You know what I'm saying? I like I said, I feel for you. I'm sorry you're going through this, but like, this is gonna keep adding to the narrative that you don't like about yourself over and over and over again. And we can already see it happening very clearly. So yeah, on that note, I don't want to hear any bullshit about Kanye anymore. I just want to hear the music. I just want to hear the art. I'm really over it. He's a very, I totally agree with you, Dan. He is an incredibly smart human being. Incredibly smart. And I'm sure that there is something behind the scenes, that there's reasons, but I also think that he's like on one right now. Very much on one right now. And I don't know if the people around him are working in his best interest. And we could talk about this all day. But I'm really just gonna leave it at, like, I just want to see the art, bro. I just want to see the art. I want to see the good that you're doing. I hope you and your kids are straight, but I don't want to hear about you. I feel like I'm listening to my parents right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. It is keeping his fans engaged. And that's another way to think about it, is it's like, it is publicity. It is press. It is that. So it's like, it's fine. But it's also more of like, this is just me ranting and talking about my personal shit with it. Like, my personal opinion on it. But I definitely agree with you. It's keeping people engaged. No publicity is bad publicity, whatever you want to say. And I'm going to move on now so that I don't keep talking about this. Holy shit, bro. Y'all see that the baby video with Danny Lay's brother? Slipping and sliding in the bowling alley? Crazy. Speaking of, because this is reminding me, Kodak Black got shot. What is going on? But that video with the baby, I honestly, personally, all I saw, like, they definitely did some damage on that slip and slide. But like, towards the end of it, all I saw was somebody pulling this man by his hair, and I was like, what are we? What are we? Exactly. They really just jumped him. And then after all that, they just pulling his hair. And I'm like, what are we, bro? What are you guys? Women? Why are you pulling bro's hair in a fight? Please. I would love to know. It was funny to me, but I feel bad for bro. Anytime somebody gets jumped, of course, it's never a fair fight. I would hate to be in that situation. Definitely a fearful situation. He didn't have nobody on his side. And that shit was just crazy. That shit was crazy. Next, we're going to get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to tell you guys about some industry updates. These usually go on pretty long. I've got 10 today. We'll see how quickly we get through them. Yeah, I agree. I can't, and that, just to go off, so what Cedric is saying is, I can't respect people that jump. And I totally agree. And I think it's a broader conversation about fighting in general, and about knowing when to stop. Like, even if you're, like, jumping is never, that's not exactly how you're saying. It's not something you can respect. It's not something that, to me, you're a bitch. Like, yeah. Anyways, but also in terms of fighting and things like that, you have to know when to stop. Like, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it there. With industry updates, we have Unit 9 backing an innovation studio named TechCo to launch and bring strategically and culturally driven tech-led content and experiences to different artists and labels. Pretty cool. The music distribution service market has reached $1.6 billion globally, and is going to continue to rise. We have, in the second half of October, KKR, via its new Chord Music venture, has acquired a large portfolio of rights from Colboat for about $1.1 billion. Now, in terms of catalog purchases, this is probably the biggest one that I've seen over the huge amount that we've seen over these past couple weeks. And now KKR is indeed securitizing that catalog into bonds. So this is what I thought was really interesting, is that the royalties from this catalog are not just royalties anymore, they're bonds, which means that basically it's a stock. I'm not a bondsman, but from what I understand, these royalty percentages essentially are now going to become stocks, which is really interesting. And I want to know who's getting paid. I always want to know who is getting paid. Next up, we have Warner Music. Their quarterly recorded music business revenues have officially hit $1.3 billion within the 3 months ending towards the end of December. So essentially December, November, October. What's your take on NFTs coming to replace record labels? No, you're good. What is my take on NFTs coming to replace record labels? I'm not mad at it. I don't like record labels. I probably shouldn't say that, but like, I'm always gonna be cool with evolution and change that benefits artists. If someone is going to essentially like start a troupe of NFTs that is gonna help bring capital to artists so that they can do what they want in their career without having to sell their soul or sell their rights or give up creative control over things, I'm cool with it. In terms of NFTs, I think they have a long way to go until they become what they're supposed to be, but I think there's a lot of potential there, and it's definitely something that you should stay up to date on. Like, I'm a very big proponent of, just because I don't love it doesn't mean I shouldn't know about it, doesn't mean I shouldn't do research on it, especially because the industry is adopting it already. The industry is adopting crypto, NFT, Web3. We're moving into it. So it's like, even if I don't love it, I still have to be knowledgeable about it, and I recommend that everybody does that. Back to business. We have the 3 major music companies, aka Warner, Sony, and UMG, have jointly generated over $20 billion last year, and that translates to $2 million an hour. I have nothing to say, but that I wish that I was a C-suite professional and at one of those companies. But at the same time, we could talk about that. I'm not going to get into it right now. Anyways, 10K Projects has appointed Tony Talamo and Zach Friedman as co-presidents of the company. We have, after 30 years as a manager, a man by the name of Rusty now wants to use his capacity to help break new acts. So essentially act as an A&R, but he wants to knock on every door, help build them up. His experience has taught him how to build a foundation and make sure that you have everything from the bottom up covered. And he's going to be doing this by advancing through digital distribution, embracing technology, and helping the people in his circle essentially get connected to other folks in the industry, specifically who have experience with labels. That was like super choppy. I don't even know what I was just talking about. Lord have mercy. The last two things for industry updates. Dr. Dre talking about how the Super Bowl and the halftime show, if you guys tune in, definitely let me know. I'm very excited to see the videos. I'm not paying for pay-per-view to watch the Super Bowl, but I definitely will be watching clips of the halftime show because it's going to be great. It's absolutely historical, which is what Dr. Dre is talking about. Hip-hop halftime show with some of the greats of the West Coast, plus Mary J. and Eminem, but Eminem is there because of Dr. Dre. It's going to be great. It's definitely awesome. And Dr. Dre has essentially been talking about how it's going to open a lot of doors for the industry to work with the Super Bowl and with sports in general. And it's a great thing. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be awesome. I know it. And that is that. And then finally, this shit. The New York mayor, Eric Adams, who, if I'm correct, he was very recently put into power and whatnot. Hey, Laos. He has declared war on drill music. And he cried as he made the statement. He's really upset by drill music. And I'm not going to get into this too much because I don't manage drill artists. I'm not in the drill scope of things. There's plenty. I listen to a lot of music, so I definitely know a little bit. I understand where Eric is coming from because honestly, hardcore rap in general has there's violence that's come from it. There's death that's come from it. There's pain that's come from it. So I understand where the mayor is coming from in terms of like lowering crime or whatever. But at the same time, it's hip hop. Like this is hip hop. You know what I mean? And it's not to say to encourage the hate and the violence and the pain that comes out of it, but like it's real. Like it's just real life. And I think if the mayor wants to talk about crime and wants to reduce these things, I think that he should work towards like making housing more affordable, harm reduction, better education in schools, redlining. Like I think he should worry about that shit more than he should worry about some people talking about their fucking lives in music. I'm gonna get through some of these. Shout out to Chief Keef. I gotta go back and see what you're saying so that I can accurately. Interesting. I'm gonna move on though. The next thing to talk about is we've got some things in the realms of partnerships, investments, and acquisitions. So Willis and Smith Capital has acquired R&B Grinding, which is a leading manufacturer of machine components to a variety of industrial consumers, including Fortune 500 original equipment manufacturers. So basically, there's a lot of shit going on in the realm of equipment and acquisitions on that end, specifically with this company, Willis Smith Capital. To me, anytime you hear capital, it's an investment capital company. So it's just a whole bunch of probably white dudes with a whole bunch of money trying to make some more money. We have the artist advanced startup Beat Bread recently announcing the completion of a seed funding round, which has elevated its total capital raised to over $34 million. That's great, but I kind of want to use this as an opportunity to talk about crowdfunding as an artist. I don't know if any of you guys have done it before, but I want to start a conversation essentially of how do we think, first of all, how comfortable are artists with crowdfunding? And how effective do we think it can be in this new age? I would love to have a conversation about that because I feel like I don't see it happening as often, and I kind of get it. Like, yeah, I'd rather just have a whole conversation about that, though, opposed to, putting it in here. But yeah, very cool. We have Snoop Dogg acquiring Death Row Records, which is such an awesome accomplishment. I think is a beautiful, like, full circle moment, and it's also like a great, just like, give me my shit, Yeah, and that's kind of my thought. So just to restate, because not everyone who will be watching back can see this, Dan is saying that he feels like most artists think it's like bad, bad representation of their image, and it's really not what they want to portray. And that's kind of where I am and why I wanted to start the conversation, because that's what I think. But in the beginning of this live, I was saying, you as an artist, you're not too good for anything. If you're a hustler, you're not too good for anything. We could definitely have, if you want, hit me up afterwards. We could have a whole conversation about that, have it on live, make it a little thing. Anyways, Sting sold his entire music catalog, including music that he made with the Police, stuff he did as a solo act. And yeah, very cool. We've had a lot of different catalog sales go on these past couple weeks, months. Lots of money, and all in that same, essentially most of them have been in that same era of music. Finally, on the partnerships, investments, and acquisition side, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority has officially confirmed its provisional decision over Sony's $430 million buyout of AWOL. So essentially what this means is that the UK government has okayed Sony on buying AWOL. Cool. We only have one thing to talk about in terms of legal, and then we're going to wrap this up. The Global Music Rights Organization, also known as GMR, filed a lawsuit alleging unfair payment of songwriters in U.S. federal court in 2016 against the RMLC, which is the Radio Music Licensing Committee. This represents the interests of about 10,000 commercial radio stations. And according to a recent announcement on February 7th, the agreement reached between the two parties includes a majority of commercial radio stations entering into a long-term license with GMR. So essentially paying a whole bunch of money up front so you don't have to pay shit on the back end. And the agreement is now final, and the licenses that radio stations signed will begin on April 1st of 2022. So interesting, definitely something to stay up on. Radio is super important. It's dying, but it's not dead, and it's still very terrestrial radio is still very important. And it's also important for them to pay who they need to pay, because radio makes a lot of money. A lot of money is exchanged in the realm of radio. So that is that. To close out, I always sorry about that. To close out, I always, this is gonna happen every time. It's gonna fuck up for a couple seconds, and then I gotta wait until it's cool for me to say what I have to say. Are we okay? I think we're good now. As I was saying, I always close out these episodes talking about, people who have passed in the industry over the past week. So I'm gonna get straight into that, and then we will close this out for the day. Lipa Mangeshkar. I'm positive that I pronounced her name wrong. But she recently passed away. She was a legendary Indian singer. Her death has been hugely publicized because of how big of a figure she was in Indian music. A lot of heavy hearts. And as always, for everyone, my condolences. I hope everyone who is affected, either being a fan or being a family member, I hope you have smooth grieving processes, always. Next, we have Syl Johnson, who was a Chicago soul singer who was very often sampled in hip-hop. You can hear his voice on songs from Jay-Z, Tupac, the Wu-Tang Clan, Public Enemy, and many, many more. Many more. We have Donnie Gerard, who is a Canadian singer. He was featured on Skylark's 1972 hit Wildflower, and he's also recorded with folks like Elton John, Mavis Staples, and Bob Seger. Next, we have Betty Davis. Huge figure, beautiful, was the wife of Miles Davis and one of his muses. But she was known for writing overtly sexual lyrics, very, very raunchy, very honest. She was the nasty gal. And some of her standout tracks were If I'm in Luck, I Might Get Picked Up, and Shut Off the Lights. And then finally, lately I've been ending these with the younger deaths that we've seen, and I said this in the last podcast. I'm usually talking about old people passing away. And I'm cool with that because they lived their life, they lived great lives, and they passed away at an old age of whatever they passed away from. But I hate seeing young people die. And unfortunately, I've been seeing a lot of it recently, especially in terms of the industry and doing my research to put into this stuff. So we have Chai Watts, who was only 18 years old. And he was gunned down in his car, or if I'm correct, outside of a studio. He was from the Bronx, if I'm correct. He was from the Bronx, moved to Brooklyn to find more opportunities to do more with his music, a part of the drill scene, and now he's passed away, and it's just very, like, I don't even know what else to say about it other than it's just sad shit to see such. I mean, to me, he's not even a man. If you're 18, 19, even 20, like, you're not a man. You're still a kid. And it just always sucks. And I should probably not, like, end off talking about deaths. But I usually do, just kind of as a way to, like, pay respects towards the end of everything. But it's sad. Of course, people passing away in general is a sad thing, but especially for it to be young kids, like young people who had so much opportunity and life ahead of them, and now I don't know. They're probably chilling. I don't know what happens on the other side, but it just sucks to hear about, especially, in violence and in less than, the whole thing is a less than desirable situation. But with all of that being said, Dan, I appreciate you for staying on. You stuck with me for this episode, and I greatly appreciate that. Thank you, everyone who came through. Thank you for all of you who are watching this on the afterthought, who are watching this after the live portion of everything. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you maybe learned something. Hopefully you like me. I don't know. But I do this every Sunday. I'll probably keep up doing them at 3 p.m. And yeah, I just hope you guys enjoyed. As I was saying before, if you want me to shout your music out on the new music portion of anything, if you have anything that has to do with the music industry, whether that be a new record deal that you're working on, a new company that you're creating, anything like that, let me know. I don't hesitate. I would love to, be able to put in your guys' information, shout you out, all of that good stuff. And definitely just stay tuned in. Stick around. We're not stopping anytime soon. So on that note, thank you guys so much. Bye. Oh shit, I gotta end it on here too. Bye y'all.